Guten Nachmittag, bon après-midi, good afternoon, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hofburg Palace, the beautiful Hofburg Palace. My name is Victoria Gathogo. I'm a program manager at the WFP Innovation Accelerator and program lead for the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you all here present and those who are joining us online to the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation Award ceremony. So, are you ready for what promises to be a very enlightening, very exciting, very inspirational, very colorful, because we are bringing Africa to you today, event? So I hope you're ready. Are you ready? Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Great. I like the energy. I think the weather also helps us, so that's good. So thank you, Austria, for some beautiful weather in September. So the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa was initiated in 2021 by the Austrian Federal Chancellery, together with the Kofi Annan Foundation, in collaboration with the Austrian Development Agency and the WFP Innovation Program. It was a program that wanted to honor social entrepreneurs who are making significant change in Africa towards the SDGs. And that is why we are here today, to celebrate innovations, to celebrate impact, to celebrate communities, to celebrate impact. The first edition was on SDG 3, good health and well-being, after the pandemic, which was very, very much welcome after we were trying to find many, many solutions towards this. And with that success, we decided to launch a second edition, which is on SDG 2, Zero Hunger. And we all know, and we'll learn today even more immensely, what is happening with the state of food security in Africa. So we are here to celebrate innovations. In the words of Kofi Annan, that he said very, very many times, suffering everywhere concerns people everywhere, yeah? And today, we also want to say innovations everywhere concern people everywhere as well, right? So this is a program that matters to us. It matters because then we are able to connect the concerns of everyone, the sufferings of everyone, the challenges, the solutions, the people, the impact. That is why we are here today, to connect challenges, to connect solutions, and to celebrate innovations. But before we begin, I want to remind you, because we are in the 20th century, to please keep your phones on silent for this next. You see, I can see people going through their pockets, they know, so that we can all be present here to what promises to be a very, very enlightening evening. For you to be present, for all of us to be present, take the moment, please, to put that off. And then what can we expect today? So we will start with a few introductory keynotes from our honorable speakers. We will then have 9 very exciting pitches to tell us more about what is happening with the state of food security, what are the innovations that are happening there, and what is the impact that they are having. And then lastly, we will have what we also are here for, the award ceremony, to award these 3 winners who have also worked hard together with all the 9 finalists with this 250,000 euros towards scaling their solutions. So I hope you are excited for that. And without further ado, to first begin with our first keynote, will be from the Executive Director of the World Food Programme. Though she could not join us physically, she sent a very good video for us to listen to with her inspiring remarks. So with that, a word from our Executive Director.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to support the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa. This initiative is more important than ever. Across Africa, hunger crises caused by conflict and climate change have sent humanitarian needs soaring. For example, the recent droughts caused by El Niño have destroyed crops and livestock across southern Africa, leaving many families with nothing. Yet I have hope for a better tomorrow. The World Food Programme works with communities right across the continent, so we know that the potential of Africa and African innovators is immense. Its young and talented population, strong entrepreneurial spirit, and flourishing culture of innovation provide strong foundations for long-term success. We have to get creative as we respond to the common challenges we face, which means innovation has never been more important. All of you at today's event are making positive, lasting changes for your countries. I salute you for your leadership, and I thank you for bringing your knowledge, talents, and ideas to our global movement to end hunger. Your smart ideas and creative thinking will power our progress and help us reach our destination. You are proof that innovation and technology are game changers for tackling the root causes of hunger and building food security across Africa and around the world. I wish all of the Kofi Annan Award finalists the very best of luck. This ceremony is in your honor, so enjoy it. Each one of you is already a winner. Thank you.
So first of all, a reminder to all the winners. You are all winners, says the executive director. But most excellent. But most importantly, just reminding us, what is the state of food security in Africa, but globally, and also just a representation of what the WFP is doing in forging innovation to do this. So we are also honored to have the executive director on the high-level board of advisors and jury for the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa. And now for our second high-level keynote, I'm delighted to introduce Director General at the United Nations Office in Vienna, Gatha Wali, for her opening remarks. Welcome, Director General.
Your Excellency, Minister Caroline Edstadler, Minister of the EU and the Constitution of the Republic of Austria, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here with you today for the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa, an award that stands for many things that are deeply relevant today, as well as many things that are dear to my heart. This award carries the name of a man who inspired people around the world, myself among them. Earlier in my career, when I was a junior staff member of the United Nations, I had the honor of meeting Kofi Annan when he visited the UNDP Cairo office where I used to work. I was struck by his sincerity, his optimism, and his dedication to creating solutions by empowering people. All of these values are strongly represented here today. This wonderful initiative by the Austrian government is about building bridges between Europe and Africa to the benefit of both. Investing in Africa's bright minds can pay dividends not just for the African continent, but for Austria, for Europe, and for the whole world. I'm also very glad to see this award focus on innovation, as I believe that innovation is the key to unlocking Africa's riches for Africans and for the world. Our world is being transformed by conflict, climate change, economic and political turbulence, and rapid technological advancement. And innovation is the only way to keep pace. And last but not least, this award speaks to me as a proud citizen of Africa and a strong believer in its potential. Africa is the youngest continent in the world. It is also estimated to have the world's highest rates of entrepreneurship. Africa is the future. And as we get ready for the Summit of the Future that will take place in New York next month, actually this month, we need to empower Africa's people to achieve the SDGs and to overcome the challenges they face. Food security is at the forefront of those challenges. From Sudan to Burkina Faso and from Somalia to Mali, crises are ravaging African communities and leaving people hungry. Yet Africa is home to more than 60% of the world's remaining uncultivated arable land, and its food economy can be worth $1 trillion by 2030. The participating ventures in today's awards are demonstrating Africa's boundless capacity for innovation to unlock that potential. I'm excited to learn more about their ideas and even to explore how we can learn from them in our own work on alternative development in the UN Office on Drugs and Crime, where we strive to replace illicit drug cultivation with sustainable livelihoods for farmers. Before closing, I want to echo the wise words of Kofi Annan, who said that a hungry mind is not free, and that to make a difference, we should start with the ability to feed ourselves and the millions of Africans who do not have it. Congratulations to all of the finalists for your inspiring efforts for an Africa where no one has to go hungry and no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director General, for your remarks and for that reminder that we can all just take that moment to remember, yeah? A hungry mind is not free. And we know ourselves in the first world when we are angry, but hungry, this moment. But really there are people who are there on the ground, farmers, families, that we are going to try to address those solutions today. So thank you so much for that reminder and also for reminding us that Kofi Annan inspired you, one individual, and is still inspiring us here, and we stand on his legacy. And now I would like to welcome our second keynote speaker for the evening, Austrian Federal Minister for the European Union and Constitution, who is also responsible for the coordination of the implementation of the SDGs, Minister Caroline Edstadler. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I would like to start by thanking you for your positive energy, for your high inspiration, bringing this ceremony to a real highlight of the year. I would say, Excellency, dear Director General Vali, dear members of the jury, honorable finalists, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to welcoming you today here in Vienna in these wonderful premises of the Wiener Hofburg. And I can also delightfully send you the warmest regards of our Austrian Federal Chancellor, Karl Nehammer. Feel very warm welcome to this Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa. A very warm welcome to all of you here in Vienna. Victoria already mentioned it. I am in my capacity as a Federal Minister for the EU and Constitution since January 2020, nearly 5 years now. And in this capacity, I'm also in charge for coordinating the SDG implementation in Austria. And I can assure you, I'm really thrilled to receive our 9 finalists today here from across Africa for the highlight of the 2 days visit in Vienna, the much anticipated award ceremony. Today, we celebrate these remarkable social entrepreneurs and honor their work, which offers concrete examples of innovation. And I'm convinced innovation is the key, addressing complex challenges ahead, combating climate change, ensuring food security in Africa. Only by enabling and promoting innovation, we can meet present challenges. 2 years ago, in the first edition of this award, it was already clear that this was just the beginning of our journey for social impact inspired by African entrepreneurship. I'm excited to see this partnership continued. After today, the 3 winning teams receive up to 250,000 euros and take part in a 12-month acceleration program. With this, we hope they can jumpstart their growth and boost their social impact to benefit as many Africans as possible. The first edition's winners reached 400,000 beneficiaries. And with the Kofi Annan Award, Austria is making a concrete contribution to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Just this summer, I had the honor to present our second voluntary national review in New York at the United Nations, and I think it is a good work. Everyone was included. The society was included, science was included, so many ministries worked to bring this to the table, and we are really proud of that. And at the United Nations, we also hosted a discussion on food security with El Haj Assi. I'm delighted to meet you here again in Vienna. Thanks and very warm welcome to you. I know you are speaking perfectly German, but from this position, I will talk English to you. As already emphasized by World Food Programme Executive Director Cindy McCain and Excellency Ghada Vali, the second SDG, SDG 2, Zero Hunger, is very timely for this year's award edition because global food security is becoming one of the most pressing global issues of our time. Against the backdrop of multiple crises, it is more pertinent than ever to tackle this challenge and leverage Africans' young population, their creativity and strong partnerships for a sustainable world for all of us. The way forward, both for Europe and Africa, is through innovation. We should intensify such social entrepreneurship, collaboration and technology where we can. Initiatives focused on technology-driven solutions such as the Kofi Annan Award continuously revolutionize farming practices and can overcome digital and innovation divides for marginalized groups like, for example, women. We must ensure no one is left behind and leverage technology to advance gender equality. Hence, I'm pleased that the Kofi Annan Award finalists all have a high proportion of female founders and employees. Congratulations to you. Indeed, as the world is facing exceptionally challenging times, cooperation is more important than ever before. All 4 Kofi Annan Award partners, the high-level jury and the teams, as well as the ever-growing Kofi Annan network, connect Austrian, African and international key players, and we focus on a digital innovation ecosystems to foster global networks also in the future. This is the long-term and unifying purpose of this award. Today, we also honor Kofi Annan's legacy and commitment to a more just and equitable world. He once said that, and I quote, "We have the ability to reshape the global food security system to alleviate hunger and poverty and promote sustainable development." End of quote. So, let's do it. Let's do it together. Today's ceremony is therefore an opportunity to have meaningful exchanges, to build bridges for a long-term partnership between Africa and Austria. And I would like to conclude by quoting an African proverb, which says, "If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together." Let's do it.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And first of all, thank you so much for the warm welcome to Austria, to Vienna, and of course to your whole team that has been working so hard to prepare all this for us. We are very grateful, together with all the partners. But more importantly, for also energizing us, taking my energy and bringing it back on stage. Let's do it. We can do it together. We are here to build connections. So let's do it. Let's create those bridges across continents, across solutions, across innovations, across people, across families. We are here to do that, so let's do it. And now I have the great pleasure of welcoming the band that will be accompanying us through the afternoon with their very electrifying beats and soulful melodies. Hailing from the vibrant musical landscape of Zimbabwe, they blend traditional rhythms with modern sounds to create an Afrofusion a cappella. Welcome, Insingisi.
Lamlela ndwanda lamlela mshweshwe
Lamlela nampaba fobe mbola
lamlela ndwanda lamlela mshweshwe
Lamlela nampaba fobe mbola
Tana nine
Taina
Lamlela ndwanda lamlela mshweshwe
Lamlela nampaba fobe mbola
lamlela mshweshwe
Lamlela nampaba fobe.
Let's go. China, nine, China, 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 nine, China, nine, yeah, China, nine, China, 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 nine, China, Lamle landwan,
Lamle
lam shwe shwe, lamle la nampa wa fuwe pula.
Thank you so much, Nsingizi. So you know what's in store. That was the first example of rhythm, you know? So you can practice. I could see, I won't point fingers to the people who looked like there was no rhythm. I won't point fingers. But you have a whole evening to practice some rhythm, yeah? So thank you so much, Nsingizi. At the beginning of this year, when we launched the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa, we launched a Pan-African call for applications. We received, as you saw, more than 800 applications, and 717 of these applications were from 49 countries in the 59 countries of Africa. 9 of these ventures, from all those 800, made it to the bootcamp, where they spent 1 week really working through their solutions with facilitators, questioning their business model, questioning their financial models, and now they're here to pitch to you what they've been doing, what they've been asked to do, to really stand out as the finalists of this award. And now, this program would not have been possible without our high-level board of advisors and jury. They have brought knowledge, they have brought expertise, they have brought to us networks, and so many of us are joining us here present, but some of this are also with us online. And so I'd just like to take a moment to mention them here present. And I will begin with Antonella May Pochla, the co-chair of the High-Level Board of Advisors and Jury and a top global business consultant, who is here with us today. Antonella. We also have Mr. Elhaj Asi, the chair of the Kofi Annan Foundation and former Secretary General of the International Federation of Red Cross, here present with us as well. Executive Director of the United Nations World Food Programme, Ambassador Cindy McCain, who sent us a video, but we acknowledge her presence otherwise. Ms. Elizabeth Nsimadala, President of the East African Farmer Federation, here present with us. Elizabeth. And joining us online, for one reason and another, they could not make it. We have Mr. Kojo Annan, son of the late Kofi Annan, serial investor and entrepreneur. We are very thankful joining us online. Kojo Annan. Ms. Bogolo Kenewendo, economist and former Minister for Investments, Trade and Industry of Botswana. Professor Muhammad Yunus, Nobel Peace Prize laureate, founder of Grameen Bank and pioneer of microcredit, and interim Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Ms. Yassine Jibo, founder and CEO of Speak Up Africa. And finally, Ludwig Prince von Bayern, German IT entrepreneur and development actor in Kenya. A huge thank you to all our board of advisors and jury for all the work that they have done to get us here. We really would not have been here without you. Thank you very much. And so now we get to the second section of why we are here, the pitches. And how it will work is that we will have 9 pitches from all across Africa represented here in 3 thematic frames. Each frame will be introduced by one of our high-level board of advisors here present with us. And then we will have 3 pitches, and we will repeat this 3 times. So I hope you're ready to be inspired with some bold innovations from Africa. So to introduce our first frame, please join me in welcoming our co-chair of the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa and high-level board advisor, Antonella May Pochla. So, feel free, Antonella. So first of all, Antonella, in 2018, Austria hosted the High-Level Forum for Africa and Europe in Rwanda, and then the Kofi Annan Award was born. Tell us what has been the journey, what was the vision, what were you thinking when you were thinking of trying this out? Give us some brief remarks.
So first of all, thank you very much, Vicky, for introducing this and for bringing all this positive energy. Not only, you don't know what the work was before getting here. So you now just see the tip of the iceberg. Thank you very, very much. Let me come to the birth date of the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa. Actually, the person that inspired also to do this sits here at the outer left. It's Ambassador Launsky-Tiefenthal, because we had this, thank you very much for that. Yeah. Because we had this EU-AU high-level forum, and we wanted to find something that would leave a lasting mark of action between Africa and Europe, and actually a lasting mark where we could learn as much from Africa as we could also give back to Africa. And I think we really thought hard, but it was not so hard to find. Entrepreneurship, digital capabilities. Wow, how much can we learn from you guys? And I think, this has been proven. So this was the idea. And so we found that having something that would put the focus on the SDGs, and particularly on SDG 3, starting with that, and then now 2, but also putting a mark on how you can change the complex processes, the complex and the difficult challenges by using the digital capabilities. This is what we wanted to last. And that was the starting point. And then, as Minister Edstadler said rightly, the proverb said, if you want to go far, team up. So we tried to find the right team, and one of the important team members was, first of all, the Kofi Annan Foundation, which really was essential in not only giving the spirit, but also bringing the right values and the right connections, and of course the World Food Programme Innovation Accelerator and the Austrian Development Agency, which has that, those capabilities that we really needed. So this was the idea, and I'm so proud that we achieved now the second edition with such fantastic participants, and you will be wowed when you see the presentations.
Thank you, Antonella. And first of all, thank you to you. Thank you to Ambassador Launsky and all those who were there from the beginning for all the work that you've done to get us here, and for that vision that we can actually have a program like this that is an example to many. And I remember even Professor Yunus, when he joined us, he was like, he already sees a future. There is something important here. There is something special here. So thank you for that. And now to introduce the frame of our fast speeches, the question is, especially in Africa, for women, for marginalized groups, there is a digital innovation gap. What have you seen in your work? You have done extensive work both in Europe, in Africa, across these chains. What have you seen is the gap there, and what needs to be addressed?
I think that one of the things that we saw, even in Europe, in our European history, is that open markets and connectivity are essential to generate a real working agricultural system, and also to generate a right economy. And I think opening up the markets, connecting the dots, connecting the people is essential. And if you go one step deeper and you look at some of the parts of the population which are less integrated, are not fully included, then you come very quickly to women. 66% of women are active in agriculture in Africa. So if we do not make it possible for them to participate fully and to generate their own revenues, we really lose a lot of potential. And that is something that we thought we need to tackle and we need to address. And this is also something that some of the participants here address in a very, very genial way. Let me put it this way, but you will see it yourself. And that will help us to integrate that part of the market that is essential, that part of society that is essential. And what we have seen is that digitization can be of real help here and of practical help. And so it's one of the areas where inclusiveness, including people via digital tools, becomes essential. And we've seen it in the last edition with health, but now we see it also in food security.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Antonella, for those remarks and for all the work again that you have done. And so, to go on to our fast speeches, I want to welcome Anna from Chip Chip Social. Welcome, Anna.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Hannah from Chip Chip. And the beautiful person you see on the screen here is my mother. Now, like most Ethiopian consumers, my mom spends nearly half her paycheck buying food for our family. And it's not because we eat an obscene amount, but rather because the cost of food, like fruits, vegetables, and grains, is so high. To understand why that is, let's look to my uncle, a farmer halfway across the country. He, on the other hand, is entirely dependent on a fragmented supply chain with middlemen that deal him unfair prices and a system that causes spoilage due to many inefficiencies. This is not unique to him alone, of course, but is the reality of countless African farmers who lose a third of their yields to post-harvest each year. Now, this waste of food that could have been brought to market, along with the multiple players who inflate prices, results in customers like my mom paying 3 to 4 times the original rates. That is where Chip Chip comes in. It's a farm-to-fork platform that directly links farmers to consumers and ensures fair prices for both. It covers logistics for the whole chain, including last-mile delivery to customers, and uses an app to optimize the process. But the key to doing what we do so efficiently is our unique group buying option based on a popular Ethiopian tradition called kirja. This means that my mom chips in with her friends, family, and neighbors to order products together. Farmers like my uncle then receive aggregated orders, allowing the ordering group to access wholesale prices significantly lower than market ones. Of course, people can still opt to buy a loan on Chip Chip, but at prices closer to the market rate. And I'm glad to say that all our customers have chosen group buying 100% of the time. This success of group buying is further amplified by its snowball effect, where my mom invites her friends, they invite theirs, who then invite more to access the lower group prices. It is precisely through this viral effect that we have grown from 7,000 users at the time we applied for this award to over 60,000 in just 5 months. Moreover, we have received over 200,000 orders to deliver 700,000 kilograms of fresh agri-foods since January and have seen a total GMV of $580,000 to date. But what does all this growth mean for the daily lives of our low and middle income farmers and consumers? Well, for every month that my mom buys through Chip Chip, she saves enough to cover 1 week's worth of food. Collectively, since January 2024, our customers in Ethiopia have saved $145,000 and have accessed 130,000 kilograms of food that would have otherwise been wasted in the supply chain. Within a year, we can scale this impact to 1.5 million users and better nourish 250,000 monthly recurring customers by linking them with food at 25% lower prices, while simultaneously increasing income for farmers by 20%. And lastly, as a witness to its impact myself, I ask that you join us in fighting hunger by making more food affordable for families like mine with what farmers like my uncle can already grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna, for taking the courage to be our first speech and really putting us into the mood. I would now like to invite our second speech for this frame, all the way from Democratic Republic of Congo. We know he could have preferred to do this speech in French, but he has taken the courage to do it in English. Welcome, Chris Ayale from DRC.
Hello. No green, no food. I'm Mr. Green. Imagine one day you wake up in the second largest agricultural country in the world, but 70% of the population is undernourished and live in extreme poverty. This country is DRC. Indeed, the small farmers face 2 major problems. The first one is lack of the market, and the second is lack of agriculture information. Our solution is Kivu Green, is an informatic platform that helps us, the farmers, to have easy accessibility to market and to have agriculture information, such as weather information, market prices, and agriculture advices. Our innovation works with and without smartphone and network. We use USSD, we use SMS, and we have the call phone in local language to the Ilera farmers. Our business model is very easy. You gain from subtraction of the farmers and the commission on sales. We need technical assistance and funds to feed the world, and with Kivu Green, we say, my phone, my food. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Chris. Very well done. And now I would like to introduce our final pitch for this frame, Kelvin, all the way from Kenya, Mama Pesa. Welcome, Kelvin.
Thank you very much. My name is Calvin from Nairobi, Kenya, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Mama Pesa, where we are on a mission to unlock financial inclusion for women in Africa. And to better tell you about our innovation is through this story. I come in a community where most of the women are responsible for the food produced. And one of these women is my mother. I've watched her work hard in our family farm, but only to see her produce food that could only feed us for 3 months, leaving us to starve until the next farming cycle. And I realized the problem is that she doesn't have money to afford quality farm inputs that will increase the turnover of her farm. And having realized that, I noticed that it's not a problem for only my mother, but over 350 million women in Africa who are locked out of formal banking. To solve this problem, together with my co-founder, Purity, she's seated there, we created Mama Pesa, which is an AI-powered fintech platform that uses artificial intelligence to generate saving plans and loan options that enable female farmers to access money to purchase quality farm inputs. And our solution is accessible through a web, mobile, and USSD application. Through our first private-public partnership, we're able to onboard over 7,500 female farmers on our platform. We're able to process over 20,000 loan applications, which were able to disburse up to 150,000 euros that financed 11,000 packets of drought-resistant seedlings. We're able to finance 25 smart irrigation solutions, and we're also to finance 8,000 bags of fertilizers. Considering that women's saving groups are a culture in East, Central, and West Africa, we have integrated our platform to digitize these saving groups to ensure that no woman is left behind. We just obtained our microfinance banking license from the Central Bank of Kenya, and to scale this initiative, we are requesting for 250,000 euros to invest in our AI infrastructure. We'll be able to ensure that for each and every euro that is invested, we're able to unlock up to 12,000 euros in blended finance from impact investors and local microfinance institutions across Africa, ensuring that we provide enough funding for these female farmers to produce food to liberate communities from hunger-induced poverty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelvin. Another round of applause for our first 3 innovations and all the work that they've done. As we transition into the second frame, I invite Insingizi, be prepared for some breathings.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. We heard you clap before, and I think now, if you are interested, you can join us sing this next song. The clapping was not bad, but I hope the singing will be better. Are you ready? Himbuwe mama, himbuwe mama, aibo himbuwe mama, himbuwe, 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 aweng mawe, wing my way, 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 together my way, wing 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 my way. And now the women, wing my way, wing my, let's go. I will. In the jungle, in the jungle, mighty jungle, yeah, tonight, in the jungle, wing my way, 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 are we? Wing my way, 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 wing my way. Can be louder. Are we? Wing my way, wing my way, wing my way, wing my way. In the jungle, in the jungle, wing my way, in the jungle, wing my way, 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 in the jungle. Wing my way, wing my way, wing my way, wing my way, wing my way. On hands together, go. Wing my way, 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 wing my way. Move, him move, him move, him move, move, him move. Him move, him move, move, him 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 move. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nsingizi. I told you we are leveling up, eh? So, but it's a surprise each time. So I don't know what's also coming next. So be prepared. But the next time you watch Lion King by yourself, by your children, please be active in the participation of the watching. Yeah? Okay. And so on to our second frame, I would like to introduce our other co-chair of the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa at the High-Level Board of Advisors and Jury, Mr. Elhaji Asi. Welcome, Mr. C. Mr. C, you also have a very personal relationship with Kofi Annan. You sit on the Kofi Annan Foundation in Africa. You've done extensive work in Africa. Tell us a bit about himself, his legacy, what he wanted to see, and why this award matters as we move forward. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. I cannot start, without greeting you in the best possible way, which is often a greeting, that is, in all the languages, just done in 2 syllables, or 1. Peace, salam, shalom, frida, pe. These are short words that have many meanings, and unfortunately is lacking in many of the places, in the world today. And if Kofi Annan was here today, he would say in his very inimitable way, peace, my friends. Many of the things that we are discussing here today sometimes are hampered, by the lack of peace. And that's the reason why I think we have to enjoy our privilege and then salute partners that are bringing us together to create an enabling environment, an environment that is peaceful, an environment, that is of solidarity, of partnership and collaboration. And I think today is an illustration of such an environment, partnership and collaboration, between Austria and Africa, which I can bear witness of myself, because having benefited from it many, many decades ago as a student of Graz Universität. And I met, just when I was coming here with some emotion, the lighter of the Afro-Asiatisches Institute in Graz, where my academic journey started 44 years ago. And then later as an absolvent of the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna. So, sehr geehrte Frau Minister, dear Peter, dear Antonella, I think it is a journey that we've traveled, together for many, many years. And today is just another, milestone. So if Kofi Annan was here today, he would say, again in his inimitable voice and tone, "You're never too young to lead, and you're never too old to learn." And here we are then celebrating leadership of young people, and also we, the less young ones, also open up ourselves, to learn with humility, that open us, to new ideas, to innovations. If you have to survive and strive in Africa, in many places you don't have any other choice, but to be innovative, but to be creative, and then to be resilient. And all of that, on a basis, of courage. And I think the young people we are seeing today, so in my country, in many other African countries, they represent 75% of the population. 75% of the population in my country are younger than 35 years. So people of my age group, we represent about 1%, of the population. And it's the reason why it's so important, I think, to have now this forum where not only the leaders of tomorrow, but those of today, which are these young innovators, are here, to be celebrated of. I think you talk about, supply chain and losses. There is nothing to lose, and every loss is almost criminal, I would say, because sometimes, and many times, it is man-made. It is man-made because of lack of planning, man-made because of lack of infrastructure, man-made sometimes because of speculations, that prevent, people from getting the food from the farm. Here in Europe, you would say from the farm to the table. So in my country, it would be from the farm to the bowl, that we share. So innovation, creativity, leadership of young people in a spirit of partnership between men and women. So I'm always moved when I hear these many presentations start, getting inspiration from moms. How many of us could say, I get it from my mother? We hear that, many times. And I think the partnerships start there between men and women, between the urban and the rural areas, between the rich and the poor, and between this generation and the next one. So in that spirit, I think we are very, very privileged, to be part of this initiative, together. So let's continue the journey. So the journey of partnership and collaboration. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. C. We really felt the presence of Kofi Annan with us on behalf of all the work that you're doing there. And also we know that as chair of the Kofi Annan Foundation, you have the new Kofi Annan Commission on Food Security and are doing a lot of work around supply chains, a lot of agri-food systems in Africa, and we're really grateful for all that work. And now, to introduce the first speaker for our second frame, I will introduce Graham from Fresh Networks. Welcome, Graham.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? So my name is Graham Benson, and I'm the Managing Director of Fresh Networks. Fresh Networks is on a mission to make safe milk available for all Kenyans. In Kenya, 54 million glasses of milk are consumed every single day, mostly by women like Emma and her 2 boys. They use it to make milk tea multiple times a day and for staple dishes like ugali and omena. Milk is a vital source of key nutrients for the entire family. However, the vast majority of milk is sold out of buckets through informal channels on the side of the road. This milk is dirty. It's often laced with informal preservatives like formaldehyde, which lead to long-term and short-term health complications. These health complications mean that people like Emma are not able to go to work and earn money that day, and her kids are not able to go to school. Ultimately, these health complications end up costing Emma and families like her almost 2.5 billion euros on an annual basis. At Fresh Networks, we're deeply dissatisfied with the status quo. We are the only solution today offering ways to make families like Emma's milk secure at a cost that she can afford. We are developing systems to sell milk to the millions of low-income families that don't have access to it today, and we're helping dairy companies reach new markets that they don't have access to. Our smart milk dispensing machines are able to sell in small quantities that customers enjoy to match up with their financial needs. We put these dispensers into local shops, making it easy to access, and we track our inventory closely with IoT systems so that we know the milk is fresh and clean and available. We do all this with an end-to-end milk distribution solution. We integrate our solution directly into dairies that exist today so that we can avoid adulteration and contamination. We use a quality intelligent cold chain that moves the milk directly into the small shops where we've installed these smart milk dispensers. We use machine learning algorithms and live analytics to help give actionable insights to the dairy for the market, for the customers. So far, our pilots have been very successful. We've sold over 140,000 liters of milk to more than 2,000 families, just like Emma's, in both Kenya and in Rwanda. We've studied the market and our technology to realize significant efficiencies in both manufacturing and deploying and operating these networks. Today, we're looking for your support, your partnerships, and everything to bring our 4th generation technology to market and demonstrate at a much more meaningful scale our operations and our impact. With this and through your partnerships, we're going to help over 10,000 families break through the challenges of food insecurity and help families like Emma's no longer have to choose between milk that they can afford and milk they can trust. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Graham, for that insightful pitch. And on to our next speech for this frame. I'd like to invite John Paul, all the way from Uganda, Solar Chill. Welcome, John Paul.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nyomi John Paul, a Chief Marketing Officer in Solar Chill Technologies. Solar Chill Tech, we turn sun into the power of refrigerations. And in Africa, Uganda in particular, there is a food waste. And what caused that is bad of food stored. So Solar Chill Technologies, we sit and came out with a good technology whereby we can help farmers and market vendors to keep their food. We came out with a solar cold room. So solar cold room, it helps farmers and market vendors to keep their food. And we didn't stop on that. We came out with an AI chatbot called Linda. Linda, via Linda, we sell food which close to expire. Linda helps supermarkets to sell milk, chicken, apples, and pineapples. So we have a great impact in that, whereby we have 1.6 million people trained about PHL, and in our cold rooms we can store 11 million plus kilograms of food stored, and on our chatbot Linda we can sell 8 million kilograms of food. That's nice for us. And our business model, commission from food sold via AI, via Linda, and some fees from lentils from codlooms, and sales of demand supply demarcations. And if I'm the lucky winner, we shall upgrade to ESSD, we shall manage marketing our codlooms and train stakeholders. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, John Paul. Very well done as well. And for our final pitch of this frame, I would welcome Samuel Muita, also from Uganda. Welcome, Samuel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Samuel Muita, General Manager at Capolax. 1.3 billion tons of fruits and vegetables are lost every single year. And this is because of the low shelf life of fruits and vegetables. At Capolax, we feel greatly that this is a huge problem that is worth solving. How have we solved it? We've developed, using green nanotechnology, tailor-made circuits that include and have a polymer that helps amplify the natural mechanism within fruits to fight senescence. With this, which we designed, we are able to have a fruit that would have lasted a few days to go up to that which its capacity could have in case of the right environmental conditions. And with this solution as Capolax, it's very simple to use. Simply get the circuit placed into a box of fruits or vegetables, and it will start working. The combination of the ease of use, affordability, and the great value that our customers have, it makes Capolax the only alternative for them. But our traction is immense. We have so far been able to reach over 2,238 kilograms of fruits every single month being preserved using our solution. With this, we are selling over 750,000 circuits to farmers, exporters, and market vendors. Our business model is very simple. We generate money from the product sold. But also, not only that, we also help our farmers, exporters, and market vendors increase the net economic value of their produce by over 35%. For every single circuit bought from us, the value returned to the customer is over $5 to $10 US. We have been greatly supported by MIT, Stanford Center on Longevity, and Milken Mosebe Prize. In the next 12 months, we want to have over 60,000 tons of fruits preserved, expand into Kenya and Rwanda, tailor our solution to 5 new fruits, but also increase our production from 750,000 circuits every single month to 2 million circuits every single month. We seek your support financially and in any other way. And we call upon you to help us make sure there's nothing lost along the value chain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samuel, and great work indeed. A huge round of applause for all these innovations, really trying to. And now for another transition, to be able to help you with rhythm, because today we want to talk about innovation, but we want to innovate your rhythm, So I don't know what's coming, but I welcome Nsingizzi.
Thank you. Kotoza mfana udlule bengakuzwa wayosala ebampimlo khona bezombona uJesu kotoza mfana udlule bengakuzwa wayosala ebampimlo khona bezombona uJesu Ageko fanalaye, ageko fanalaye, ageko fanalaye, kosi ama kosi, ageko fanalaye, ageko fanalaye, ageko fanalaye, kosi ama kosi size jawule kuwena size jawule kuwena jawule kuwena kosi ama kosi ageko fanalaye ageko fanalaye ageko fanalaye kosi ama Khosi akekho fana naye akekho fana naye akekho fana naye Nkosi yamakhosi.
Thank you very much. I think they had mercy on you, no? They didn't want to elevate. They wanted to help you feel at least a bit more confident. Thank you so much. And I hope that you're feeling a bit transported into the rhythms of Africa, really feeling on the ground. Because now, to keep the momentum going, I would like to invite our high-level board of advisor, president of the East African Farmers Federation, Ms. Elizabeth Nsimadala. Welcome, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you yourself are a farmer, an agripreneur, working with billions of farmers on the ground in Africa. I think what we want to hear from you is, what is the context of the African farmer on the ground? What is their imagination of digital innovations? What matters to them? What are they looking for? What are the challenges? What are the solutions there that you've seen? Really bring us into the context of the African farmer on the ground.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Victoria. And Your Excellency, Honorable Minister, let me first of all stand on the existing protocols, duly observed and respected. Like you've mentioned, I come here representing 25 million smallholder farmers under the Eastern Africa Farmers Federation, and these are from 10 countries with over 25 farmer organizations. But I also wear other several hats, and at continental level, I represent over 80 million smallholder farmers under the Pan-Africa Farmers Organization. And majority of these are women. From my experience as a smallholder farmer, as an entrepreneur, but also the experience of other smallholder farmers on the continent, our challenges, I believe, are the same across. We have challenges of access to structured and predictable markets, access to affordable, sufficient, and long-term financing, unpredictable policy environment that does not attract long-term financing, and of course, the other biggest elephant in the room is climate change. As we all know, smallholder farmers face the biggest brunt of climate change. But today, I'm very proud, and I want to recognize and appreciate the sponsors of the Kofi Annan for Innovation in Africa Awards for investing in these young game changers that are providing solutions to the challenges that I've mentioned above that will see us move a step further into achieving SDG 2 and other associated SDGs. How has been my experience with the Eastern Africa Farmers Federation, especially when it comes to the digital space? We have our own farmer-led innovation, the e-granary, that aggregates farmers for input, services, and output markets. Because we believe once we address all these challenges across the entire value chain, then we are near a step to success. But what we've realized is that innovations are revolutionary if well harnessed. And to do this, we have to invest in these business ideas. They're so good, but as long as we invest in them, as long as we invest in these solutions, we cannot achieve much. So we have to invest in these solutions that are farmer-led, that are farmer-based, that are farmer-centric, by making sure that we invest in those that are value chain inclusive. But above all, we need also to invest in building partnerships that are going to see sustainability of these innovations. Having said that, I also need to point out that the challenges and barriers also are in different forms. We also need to underscore the need for the architecture of these different solutions. We need to be mindful of the cost of these solutions. But also the digital literacy is very key and important as we think through scaling up these innovations. And together, we need to work together to mobilize sufficient resources to put these innovations to scale. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, and thank you for your work at the High-Level Board of Advisors, but also for all the work that you're doing really on the ground to represent farmers. And also, as Antonella reminded us, 66% of those are women in Africa in the agri-food system. So thank you so much for your work. Thank you for bringing us that context. And so, for our final frame, I hope you're still motivated to see what's there as we have seen what's already being solved. I would like to introduce Amabel from Grow For Me. Welcome, Amabel.
Hi, everyone. Hello. Hi. $1.9 billion is the total post-harvest losses Ghana experiences every year. And this affects 7 million smallholder farmers who produces 70% of my country's food requirements. From Ghana, I'm Amabel. My friends and I needed to solve this problem. We developed the Grow For Me micro aggregator platform, MAP for short. A commodity financing, aggregation, and trading platform that simply connects financiers, investors, aggregators, farmers, and off-takers to access ready market. Farmers simply dialed a USSD code, which allows them to select a commodity. This triggers an alert to a warehouse officer who checks for quality and quantity. Upon approval, the farmer receives instant payment via mobile money. Warehouses are able to pay farmers because they have working capital on each of them. And this working capital are coming from monies from investors and financiers. Similarly, aggregators are also able to access financing from this platform so that they can buy commodities from farmers who are not close to any warehouse. At full capacity in warehouses, commodities are loaded onto trucks and distributed nationwide, creating jobs along the value chain. For the past 4 years, we have aggregated over $1 million worth of commodities, impacting 19,000 smallholder farmers. Farmers who sell on MAP make 7% extra profit margin. Depending on how long we hold a commodity in a warehouse, we make 5 to 45% profit margin on commodity trading. For input financing, where women and youth gain access to improved seeds, fertilizer, and mechanized services, we make 50% profit. Whilst for fundraising for agribusinesses on our platform, we charge a 10% fee. The agricultural sector, specifically the commodity industry, is valued at $1 trillion by 2030. And we are looking at 15 African countries. And Grow For Me is incorporated in 5 and operational in 1. And that is why I am here today. I'm here to seek for $2.1 million. Specifically, $1 million would be used in upgrading technological infrastructure to be able to raise more funds for small agribusinesses in Ghana and in Africa. And this would allow us to onboard 95 warehouses so that 5,400 rural youth could gain employment by aggregating 11 million commodities from going bad. Most importantly, 1 million smallholder farmers would be gaining access to ready market. I am inviting you today to join Grow For Me to ensure that financing is made available, that farmers can access ready market. Join me to ensure zero hunger in Ghana and on the African continent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amabel. Great work. And now for our penultimate speech of the afternoon, I want to welcome Amy from Jokalante. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you. I'm Amike Base, founder and CEO of Jokalante. And I am a single girl raised by a single mom. And I used to experience financial struggles and know what food insecurity means, because these struggles shape my understanding of resilience. And taught to me the value of connection, but also the transformative power of information. Currently, in Senegal, 16% of Senegalese population face food insecurity. And in 2024, in all West Africa is to 55 million. And this is due to a lack of access to information for quality inputs, but also unreliable market data information, which leads to trust issue and unreliable issue, particularly between business and farmers. And also inadequate agri-advisories in this context of climate change due to the level of literacy of our farmers. At Jokalante, we provide essential information in local language, leveraging climate and market data to help farmers increase their yields, but also empower more communities. We are able to do that with our data-driven platform, where farmers receive information in adapted channels in their local language to make informed decisions that help them increase their yields, but also building trust between business and farmers, but also between farmers and farmers, because you all know that farmers only trust farmers. Our platform is where farmers build their resilience, but also increase their revenue. In terms of impact, only in 2023, we were able to reach directly through their mobile phone 13,000 farmers. And 90% of these farmers affirm that they improve their decision-making process and improve their yields, growing their revenue by 22%. And this helped our growth in 2022 from 30% growth to now 67% growth in 2023. We were able to do that by working directly in the B2B2C model, business model with local cooperative, but also through public-private partnership, and also B2B with NGO and businesses. We are requesting your support through advocacy, partnership, but also funding, because we have a vision to transform more lives and increase the resilience of at least 2 million farmers' lives by 2030, and increase 20% of their revenue and ensure more food security. And we are even inviting you now to do something with us, Jokalante, for Senegal, but also in West Africa and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy, and especially for reminding us that farmers only trust farmers. Now we know. And finally, for our last speech of this afternoon, I want to welcome Muthoni from Amini. Welcome, Muthoni.
Good afternoon, everyone. As she said, my name is Muthoni. I am COO, and I'm here to tell you about Amini. But before I do that, I'm actually going to talk about something that I'm sure all of you are familiar with, and that is ChatGPT. Today, 180 million people globally are using ChatGPT. However, in the global south, 2.6 billion people are still digitally unconnected. So why is that important? When you're unconnected, it means you're invisible. There is no good quality, accessible, usable data that farmers need to make decisions. Something as simple as weather is actually highly inaccurate for some parts of the world that we work with. We believe AI has the potential to solve systemic level issues like food security and climate change, but the lack of good quality accessible data is a fundamental barrier. And that's why Amini was born. We're building data infrastructure in and for Africa. We aggregate, process, and transform raw data into actionable insights. So we use multiple sources, whether that's satellites, drones, soil samples, and then fuse it, and this is the crucial part, with ground truth. That is information that actually is being digitized for the very first time to ensure any insights are actually based on local context, collected at farm level. We've taken it a step further by building our own in-house proprietary foundation model. So ChatGPT, but for earth sciences. And this model is actually built specifically to understand local context. For example, the fact that most farmers have land sizes of less than 3 acres, and also to deal with that lack of data. So our vision on a large scale is to be the platform that others build on. We are API-based, which means we integrate into existing technologies, tools, and workflows. We can actually support a startup offering smart farming insights. We can support a bank offering microcredit to smallholder farmers. We can actually support a government doing a large-scale food security project. This ecosystem approach is central to our ability to scale. And in fact, in the last year, we worked with Aon, one of the largest global insurance brokers, and helped them reduce the cost of insurance for 300,000 farmers in East Africa by 30%. However, one key thing that we have made crucial to our mission is that same information being used by a large organization like an insurance company is actually given to smallholder farmers to improve their farming practices, make them more sustainable, improve their livelihoods, make them more resilient to climate change. So today we would like to expand into the Ivory Coast. Smallholder farmers there are actually at risk of losing their livelihoods due to regulations that require them to offer GPS-accurate information on their farms, despite that lack of connectivity that we've already talked about. So by supporting the digitization of that value chain, we not only start to support them to comply with regulations, we also enable them to start building up data, important data such as soil health, crop type maps, which then enable us, through our foundation model, to understand the context of an entire country's agricultural value chain, and we can then expand into different crops, different value chains, support more customers, and therefore impact more farmers. One key thing is our model is purely B2B. We have a flexible pricing structure for smaller companies and an annual license fee for larger enterprises. But one key thing we would like to do is ensure that that information is always free to farmers. We have grown in the last couple of years. We have an ecosystem that includes global tech players like NVIDIA, who have helped us in our R&D journey. But today, we're here to actually expand that ecosystem. So we invite you to join that ecosystem, whether you are a research or data partner, support our initiative, or actually start to build with us. It would mean a lot because a lot of our families, 60% of our team, are from farming families, so this affects us every single day. Thank you. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you so much, Muthoni, for closing us quite inspirationally. And I would just like to take a moment to acknowledge all the innovations that are here. I saw people even taking notes. I saw people thinking, wow, they look very small, but they're doing very big things, you know? So thank you for your bold innovations. I mean, I am inspired. I hope you're also inspired. And one of the things that I also want to mention is a lot of these people are stepping on the stage for the first time. And a lot of you who know what that means to step on a stage, speak in a language that maybe is your third, fourth language that you're learning, or, you know, and in front of distinguished guests and people that they will be meeting for the first time is quite something. But also for the families represented, the communities represented here, all their teams, all their hard work. Let's give a very huge round of applause to all these inspirations. Excellent. And now, before we transition into the final section of the evening, I will invite Nsingizi.
Ngwalo ngwalo gamachoban oh ngwalo ngwalo oh 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 ngwalo chicha pumbai oh ngwalo ngwalo oh ngwalo ngwalo gamachoban oh ngwalo ngwalo oh ngwalo ngwalo oh ngwalo ngwalo oh ngwalo ngwalo gamachoban oh ngwalo ngwalo oh ngwalo 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 kamachoba ngwalo 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 kamachoba ngwalo 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 kamachoba ngwalo ngwalo kamachoba ngwalo ngwalo
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I saw some people holding their breath in case they are invited on stage to dance. So thank you for not doing it. There was a moment, but I was ready to step in. I was ready. So we are on to the part that we've all been waiting for, to announce the awardees of the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa. And for this, please join me in welcoming the Federal Minister, Caroline Edstadler, and Mr. Bernard Cowash, the head of the WFP Innovation Accelerator, on stage to kick off this section. So, Federal Minister, you have seen some very inspiring, very bold innovations after all the work that they've done. I don't know what your feelings about after seeing these speeches.
I'm deeply impressed. I'm deeply impressed by all the projects. I'm deeply impressed by the high discipline in presenting them in a very short period of time, because I think that's the most difficult thing to do. You have to tell so many things, and you did it quite well, on point, and I'm impressed by all of the projects. I can only say you are all winners. Thank you so much.
Bernard, as head of the Innovation Accelerator and an entrepreneur yourself, actually, for many years, this collaboration with our Austrian partners, as well as the Kofi Annan Foundation, has been key to some of the work that we've been doing at the Accelerator, and the mandate, as the Executive Director spoke about, to drive innovation forward. In these years, as we've been working towards addressing SDG 2, scaling innovations, the work that the WFP Accelerator has done, why is this important? The work that we're doing, but also the Kofi Annan Award for Innovation in Africa.
No, and I think this is very important, and like everybody who witnesses this here in Rome, but also online here, the startups, the entrepreneurs, and everybody who was on stage today, they really give me hope, and I hope they give a lot of hope to other people out there, where I can attest to this. I mean, this year we're running a total of 20 Impact Accelerator programs for food security, climate action, different SDGs, solving different problems, actually. The reason why we're doing this is because we believe that innovation is one of the enablers, together with technology, that can help us tackle some of these big problems. And we've seen it today. Minister Edstadler said, like, all of you are already winners. You are the 9 best teams out of over 800 submissions. And I mean, this is mind-blowing in a way. And I just want to say, all of these solutions that we're seeing, they can be the ones that disrupt global hunger and be that hope that we have there for inspiring people, but also change the narrative. You are embodying the spirit of entrepreneurship, of youth, of making sure that there's impact at scale that we can witness, not just like small, but we saw it like really at scale already.
Excellent. And also just to ask, we are scaling a lot of innovations, Bernard. Some of the challenges are quite complex. As Mr. C said, some of these countries and some of the countries which the ventures are working with are not at peace at the moment, but also the advances that we're making towards climate change, but also the struggles there. The question also is, as the work of the Innovation Accelerator, what have you seen in terms of the importance of the challenges there, but also the solutions there towards scaling innovations?
Well, for this, I mean, we can test the audience as well. It's like, how many of the solutions used technology? How many of the solutions use digital or artificial intelligence? And I think this is what answers some of the questions. Yes, it's true, like wars, conflict cause a lot of the issues. Climate change causes a lot of the issues. And like there has to be action to address these topics per se. But there is still, even despite
all the other externalities, there's impact you can have right now. And I think this is something that I find really not just inspiring, but really, building a new, I don't want to say a new dawn, but like a new legacy even of entrepreneurship that we're seeing here, because you can create change right now for the future that will have a lot more impact. Now, imagine just like all the innovators and startups that come after you, because they will see it's possible to do this. So maybe it's one of the other entrepreneurs out there that will be on stage next time.
Excellent. So thank you both, Federal Minister Bernard, on behalf yes, for the work that you're both doing to drive innovation and also the SDGs as well. And so to get to the part we've all been waiting for our first award announcement, I will invite Antonella with the envelope of the first winner. Welcome, Antonella, on stage.
So I think that this is going to be really, really interesting because, as you said, everybody's a winner, but one is the winner of the winners. So I give it to you, you open it, and you read it. It's for the first frame. And the first frame, who's the winner?
You want to? So it's like for the Grammy Awards or something like that, yeah? Well, the winner is... The trophy goes to, the Kofi Annan Award goes to... Should I tell it now?
Yes, you should tell it.
Okay, it goes to Chip Chip Social.
Yes, a quick.
Maybe you should go in the middle.
Yes.
Yelele mama, 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 yelele chip chip, yelele mama, 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 yelele chip social, yelele mama, yelele mama, congratulations, yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama. A cheap, 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 a cheap, 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 together, cheap, cheap, together, cheap, 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 cheap. One more time, cheap, cheap.
All right. Now you know why you were practicing. It was for this moment. Thank you so much. And now to announce our second awardee, and with the envelope for the second awardee, I will invite Mr. C. Welcome, Mr. C.
And I also have a microphone for you.
Well, I'll just do the easy part. I hold the microphone and hand over the card, to Frau Minister.
Well, it's another moment, like for the grannies. Well, our second winner, the second out of 9 winners, is the Kofi Annan Award 2024 goes to... Should we tell it? Yeah? No?
Yes.
Wait another minute.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. Fresh Networks.
Yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama, yelele mama,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama.
Congratulations,
helele mama, helele mama,
fresh,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama.
A fresh,
fresh, fresh,
fresh,
fresh,
fresh, fresh,
fresh, fresh,
together,
fresh,
fresh. One more time,
fresh, 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 fresh. Congratulations.
And finally, for our third winner of the afternoon, I will welcome Elizabeth Nantsmadala with the third envelope. Welcome, Elizabeth.
So microphone again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really a great honor for me, Honorable Minister, to hand you over this card to announce our third winner.
Okay. Should I do it slowly or quickly?
Slowly.
Slowly, okay. The winner in the third category of the Kofi Annan Award 2024 goes to... Oh, let's wait a minute. Amini!
Helele mama, 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 helele mama. Congratulations, helele mama, helele mama. Amini, helele mama, helele mama. Together,
Amini, Amini.
Together,
Amini, Amini.
helele mama,
Amini, Amini. Yeah. Amini, Amini.
We can clap.
Amini, Amini,
Amini,
Amini, Amini,
Amini,
Amini, Amini, Amini.
helele mama,
Helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele
mama, helele mama, helele mama. Congratulations, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama.
Congratulations,
helele mama, helele mama,
amhlo,
helele mama, helele mama,
congratulations,
helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama,
helele mama,
helele mama, helele mama,
cheap fresh meat,
helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama, helele mama.
You remain, you remain. Yes, with that. Yes, you still have to remain, yeah. Okay, and so thank you very much to all the winners. Great job. But as we said, all of them are winners, right? The federal minister mentioned it again. And for all your hard work, because we've seen all the innovations, all the hard work, we would like to honor all the ventures that are here with a quick certificate. We will just come up, take a quick photo, be congratulated by the federal minister and Mr. Kovac, and then we finish the final part. So to start off, I will start with Kivu Green. I think so. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Yes, quick photo. Quick photo. Thank you very much, Kivu Green, Mr. Green. And for our next venture, Mama Pesa. Thank you. Thank you very much. And for our next venture, Carpolax. Okay. Director General, Gadi, goodbye. Thank you for all the work. And next, we will have Solar Chill Technologies. Welcome, Jean-Paul. And now we will have Grow For Me. Welcome, Amabel Francis Mauli. Much welcome. And finally, our elegant ladies from Senegal, Jokalante. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kovac. Thank you, Federal Minister. And now, as we come to the close of the afternoon, I would just like to say one more round of applause because of all the great work that has been done here. Thank you, everybody, for your patience, for your interaction, for the rhythms you will also come up from in Singisi. Thank you to all our partners represented here and all of you who have, in one way or another, contributed to the work that's been done here. And in a special way, we always know there are so many people on the back end, so many people who've worked thousands of hours here who are represented by the partners. Just take a moment to give them a round of applause and say thank you for the work that's been done. As we said in his words of Kofi Annan, suffering anywhere concerns people everywhere, and today we are coming off with innovations anywhere concern people everywhere. So after this, we will have the marketplace open. You have now had the pitches of the ventures. You've gotten into the context of their mothers, their fathers, their children, their farmers, their communities, and all of that. And now the marketplace will be open so that you can really dig into them and ask them the questions. Tell me more. How can I support? How can I, in one way or another, it's not always the funds, it's expertise, it's knowledge, it's connections to someone you know. They are very open and they're looking to scale in that way. So the marketplace will be open for that after this. And also to say that the ventures have traveled a long while. Ask them questions, engage with them. We know you want to engage with each other, which is very good. That is why you're here. But really also engage with them. And also for me, and from the WFP Innovation Accelerator, I want to say thank you so much for being a very engaging audience. It has been an honor to be your master of ceremonies. And after this, one of the things, I will invite the speakers to come on stage and take a final photo with all the speakers, and the rest of us can walk to the marketplace for a bite to eat, for networking, and to meet the ventures. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure.